at the 40th and Old Cheney Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 937 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it, On the Block on a Thursday. I'm Austin, joined by the NBA 2K vet, Nick Sainer. Nick, thanks for filling in.
Appreciate it, Austin. This is fun. Yeah, no, I did not play in the NBA for 9 years. Did not.
You could, though.
I could not. I'm not.
You're Kyle Lowry
tall
size.
enough.
You could do it.
Not tall enough. Kyle Lowry.
See, there's a
is that a little foreshadowing? Because I heard that I get to play shootout with Strick today.
You do.
Okay. Nice.
Yes. That'll be in just about 20 minutes. So hope you're prepared. Because I know the call line is.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm sure it'll probably. I don't know. I guess I don't know the categories or anything yet, but I would just using context clues with the NBA Finals tonight. I would assume that it's NBA Finals themed.
One team in the NBA Finals theme.
Okay. Well,
So,
I obviously don't know either. So
that'll be coming up in about 20 minutes. Big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring On the Block. Again, they're open through the weekends, so make sure you get out and see them. Sit on the patio. It's going to be nice. Even if it rains, just sit inside, but it seems like it's going to be nice. Speaking of making it rain, KEISEI Tominaga officially back. Is there a more fun Nebraska player in the last 5 years? I don't think so. 10, there's a conversation to be had. Because he's fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to go 10, like you're talking Terran Petaway was pretty enjoyable to watch, especially against like Michigan State on the road. Terran Petaway, that was really enjoyable to watch. The years of like Lance Jeter were fun, and Dylan Talley, rest in peace to Dylan Talley. But no, like 5 years, I think absolutely. And I think also when you take into account the kinds of years that Nebraska's had, it's hard to get excited about a player because it's been a frustrating couple of years.
It sure has been. Other news in the Big Ten announced Zach Edey coming back. Who is more important for their team, KEISEI or Zach Edey?
Man.
Because I think it's a closer conversation than a lot of national people will have.
I think so too, and I think it would maybe surprise people that it's as close of a conversation as it is. Because you hear National Player of the Year. Obviously, since we're in this Nebraska like lens, there might be some, uncontrollable bias. I think maybe KEISEI, and the reason I say that is because you look at maybe what Purdue has outside of Zach Edey, and you still look at that team and say they're an NCAA tournament team, right? I think, are they instantly an NCAA champion, a title contender with Zach Edey?
Well, they had to make it out of the first round.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. So I think when you look at, man, Okay, what are your thoughts on that? Because that's interesting for me.
My thought is that it's still Zach Edey because he's so overwhelmingly efficient and tall and good and unique that you have to get to the postseason. So having a guy like that to get you through the regular season goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that if Zach Edey had gone, Matt Painter's got another very tall human on the bench somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
I still trust Matt Painter, his system. I like KEISEI as a guard more than I like Purdue's guards. I don't think their freshmen are very good at all down the stretch last year. I think KEISEI is better than either one of those guys that Purdue has. I still think Edey is more important offensively and defensively, like as a whole. But in terms of sheer offensive value, what KEISEI does with the basketball from where he does it, the way he does it, he's more important to a single aspect of Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Zach Edey is probably more important holistically.
Okay, I would agree with you there because I also don't know, like Nebraska fans aren't familiar with what having a guy of Zach Edey's size can do for your program, right? I'm sure that if Nebraska had a guy Zach Edey's size and with his ability, then you're sitting there going, okay, yeah, Zach Edey's pretty valuable to this team. So okay, yeah, I'm gonna switch it up then, and I'm gonna go with Zach Edey. So yeah, I think obviously National Player of the Year plays a factor in that too, but you saw the emergence of like a freshman in Fletcher Lawyer for Purdue, and they're still that NCAA tournament team. But what you said about you have to make it to the postseason, Zach Edey certainly helps you. Nebraska's not this like automatic postseason team, I suppose, with or without KEISEI Tominaga. So I'm okay. So yeah, I'm going to lean Zach Edey on that one.
Craig, we do have rose-colored glasses.
He's talking about me. He's talking about me. Yeah.
The thing is that KEISEI's important. He is. Like, anyone can see that. Andy Katz had him at number 5 on his most impactful transfers coming back, or not transfers, NBA draft decisions coming back in. People see it. People recognize it. And Zach Edey. We understand that. But I still think that he is more easily replaceable by someone 6'11" than KEISEI Tominaga is by someone else 6'2" on this roster right now.
Especially at a place like Nebraska. Like, understand the situation that maybe Zach Edey is walking into compared to like KEISEI Tominaga is walking into. There's a very good chance, I suppose, that Nebraska unfortunately falls in the first or second round of the Big Ten tournament next year and is done playing by mid-March. Mm-hmm. Like that could be where at Purdue, I think the expectation at Purdue, although they haven't necessarily lived up to that expectation, it's make it through the first round or second round of the NCAA tournament, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think when you look at the situation that each player is walking into, it's very important that KEISEI returned. It's very important that KEISEI Tominaga is back for Nebraska, simply because he provides in a situation in this season where Nebraska, like, they never got into like a big lull or a losing streak like they were used to. Mm-hmm. But at times where you worried, or at least I was worried about, okay, what's the fan engagement going to look like on a 6 p.m. tip-off against a Big Ten team? I think KEISEI played a bigger part in drawing people to the arena than maybe we realized.
Absolutely.
I really do. I think KEISEI sells tickets and people love watching him play, whether it's on TV or whether it's in person. Mm-hmm. And I guess drew eyeballs, like I said, whether that's buying a $10 ticket to go sit at PBA or watching on television, right? Mm-hmm. Husker basketball has never been the thing like Husker football where you set aside what you're doing on a day to watch it. But we saw it towards the end of the season last year where the social media reaction was greater than normal when it came to Nebraska basketball. Mm-hmm. The game against Maryland, that was one of those games that everybody put what they were doing aside to watch the screen and watch what KEISEI, Sam Hoiberg, and the rest of the guys were doing that day.
Especially by overtime.
100%.
When that game was interesting.
100%.
But let's take a pause right here. And when we get back, we're going to get into the lineups that Nebraska can throw out there, because I think there are some conundrums that we talked about, growing pains and the crossover. I think we're going to see that for a few weeks of the season just because there are so many guys I think are deserving of playing time. So it's going to be who comes out on fire, who starts the quickest, and really forces their way into that rotation. But we'll have more on the block as we continue here on 93.7 The Ticket next.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer roads on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Spring's here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
Join us on Tuesday, June 6th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 40th and Old Cheney for Customer Appreciation Day. Enjoy 59-cent wings all day and your favorite sports talk show hosts on the air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang out with us for Customer Appreciation Day on Tuesday, June 6th at the 40th and Old Cheney Buffalo Wings and Rings. Celebrate the start of June in style with 2 great drinking events in Lincoln. First, this Friday, come down to Beer House's grand opening as they show off their expansion to double the size of their building. The party starts at 3 p.m. with live polka music starting at 7. And on Saturday, make plans to head on over to Sideshow Spirits and Cider for the first annual Nebraska Whiskey Carnival. Enjoy local Nebraska distilleries and their spirits, food vendors, and more. Event starts at 3 p.m. Buy your tickets ahead of time at SideshowSpirits.com.
Aloe is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Aloe has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Aloe as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Aloe communities.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. For sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Scattered thunderstorms a possibility today. It will be another warm one. We'll top out at around 87. South winds a little strong, gusting over 20 at times. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 65. More chances of thunderstorms tomorrow and remaining warm with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com. Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Old School with DP&J.
Remember, we still got to factor in the offensive line, the receivers
I'm
we
not
don't know
factoring
about.
I'm looking at individual here. Chuba has not done anything to date here.
He's been a starter here.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a starter.
Okay, and the
That's
coach
one more.
Two coaches got
one,
fired.
He didn't get him fired. Look,
I'm
Chubba
not
ain't
saying-
the reason
no,
why.
no, I'm not saying he get fired, but
Yeah.
he didn't do anything. He didn't stop me from bringing in Jeff Sims.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Again, no Strick. He is being a businessman. Got stuff to do, so Nick's filling in. Appreciate that, but I'm Austin Norman. The big news, of course, from last night that we're talking about here in this first hour is KEISEI Tominaga's return to Nebraska. Couple things before we get to the lineups that we're going to talk about. David on the YouTube stream, thanks for tuning in. And then the anonymous texter, thank you for your thoughts as well. But I'm going to disagree because you guys have a similar concern. Basically, to summarize what I think you guys are saying is that KEISEI Tominaga was a product of Derek Walker and Sam Griesel's passing.
Yeah.
I understand the thought, but I disagree. I get that a lot of what Nebraska did was run through Sam Griesel and Derek Walker, but that sells KEISEI short. I really think it does because, Nick, you made the point. It wasn't just KEISEI sit in the corner.
Well, I don't know if that's KEISEI's strong suit, right? Like, when you look at KEISEI Tominaga, is he that guy to stand in the corner and wait for you to pass in the ball and be a spot up shooter? Or like just a standstill? Like, I think he can do more. And also with the whole like Derek Walker thing, he was, as Austin said in the first segment, as good of a passing big as we've seen in recent like memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Derek Walker, why wouldn't you facilitate through Derek Walker if you could? Derek Walker was a 6'8" big man who could handle the ball really well for a guy of his size. And so, like, why wouldn't you utilize him when you can? Now it's going to look different. And I'm with Austin. As I said, like, you were able to run KEISEI off of these handoffs and him shoot some acrobatic 3-point shot that you thought there's no way this goes in, but it does. And yes, he can be a spot up shooter, I suppose, but I think he can do more. Like, he has the ability to create a shot, whether it's off the dribble or whatever it may be. We saw some crazy things, and we also saw KEISEI drive to the hole a couple of times and finish on layups, and not to mention a really, really talented free throw shooter as well.
Absolutely. He's going to have to get to the free throw line more this year.
Yes.
I think that's one of the next steps for him. But for as many back cuts as he had, again, those were impressive. Those were awesome. But it takes two parts. It takes the pass, but it takes the movement. It takes the threat of the three to get the defender sprinting to the 3-point line to stop on a dime and turn around. But I also think it sells KEISEI's movement off the ball short to say, oh, he was just a product of Griesel and Walker. Mm-hmm. Of course, they're going to make him better. But go back and watch the 15 minutes of threes that he made this year that Nebraska posted on YouTube. How many of those were just fantastic? Oh, no one else in the country would have found it. Mm-hmm. No, it was KEISEI spacing out deep. It was KEISEI running off a couple screens. It's a simple chest pass.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And so many of them are self-created in transition as well. Mm-hmm. So, yes, Derek Walker and Sam Griesel sucking guys into the paint to draw them closer to the basket to give KEISEI more space helps. But KEISEI's not just a spot-up shooter. Mm-hmm. He's more than that. So give him some credit. He's got to take another step this year. That's what we're going to be watching. But he's not going to fall off because those two guys are gone.
Well, that's the thing. KEISEI needs, and he said this in that video with the Indiana Pacers, and it's no surprise or no shock. He needs to improve. He needs to get stronger, right? He can't do anything about his side, this body size, right? You can't do anything. It's not like he's going to hit a growth spurt. Can't get in the weight room and get 3 inches taller. Like, you're not.
Dad already gave him what Dad's going to give him.
Yeah, you're not, despite being taller than ever. Yeah, but unfortunately, like, so you got to figure out ways to use that not only to your advantage, but also how to use that to your best of your ability. And he figured it out last year
in moving without the basketball. If you went to Pinnacle Bank Arena and watched a game in person and just kind of kept your eyeballs locked onto KEISEI Tominaga, you would see and you would be entertained because you would be watching basically a basketball game in itself on how much he was moving around and understanding the movements throughout their offense, whether it was going through the baseline and funneling out the other side onto the weak side, whatever it may be. He was always moving, and it just perfectly emulates the whole Steph Curry approach that he takes to his game. Because you watch on some of the biggest stage with Steph Curry, the guy never stopped moving. No. And KEISEI does the same mannerisms, does the same type of movements. He looks so similar off the ball that last year he was able to create space by just tiring out defenders. And also it's not like he's an atrocious ball handler where he can't create space off the dribble either. He doesn't need a whole lot of space either. He has such a quick release that's not like he needs the space of a Sam Griesel or a CJ Wilcher to be able to get a good look off. He's able to hit it in such tight quarters that you don't need to be able to create 3 feet of space to have a good look.
If he was just a spot-up shooter, or even a movement shooter, Nebraska wouldn't have gotten him as much space as they did or run him off nearly as many screens. That's to get him an advantage to pull up if he has the space, which he did plenty of times. Or the next step, I think, is can he get downhill more? Can he be a facilitator and take shots because he's a good shooter, but not force them up, not be overly aggressive? And that's where I think this leads into the conversation of who's around him.
Yeah, well, and what's going to be interesting, Austin, as I'm thinking about how it's going to be important that he and whoever is the starting big man, if they run that little handoff at the top of the key like they usually do, Derek Walker and KEISEI, and just Derek Walker and whoever the guard was in general, had such a good chemistry that D-Walk very rarely ever got called for an illegal screen. And part of that's on obviously Derek, who's setting it and making sure that he's staying still. But then it's also on the guard, right, to have the timing. And that's going to be one of the growing pains I could see, I could envision, is just the timing just being a little off and it not being as smooth as maybe we're just used to. But once again, as we said earlier, it's unfair to ask a rink mass to be Derek Walker. It's unfair to ask. It was unfair to ask Wilhelm Breidenbach to do what Derek Walker did, because Derek Walker just was so experienced and was so smooth and made it look so easy for a guy of his size that it's unfortunate Nebraska couldn't do more as a team with a guy like Derek Walker.
It's true. I mean, Derek Walker deserved better for everything he put in. Let's think about the guys on this roster, though. I think, Nick, you really only have 2 true big men, Blaise Keita and Rink Mast.
And hopefully Blaise can stay healthy, because we saw a little snippet of what Blaise could look like if he's healthy.
If one of those guys go down, you're looking at Josiah Alec and Juwan Gary at the 5. You don't love that. I like those guys as 4s, and for stretches, you can get away if you're going to blitz teams offensively of them at the 5. Your wings, to me, are interesting. I am all in on Bryce Williams. That's a guy I don't think Nebraska has seen in a long time. I like him. Juwan Gary, I think, is really good. I think he takes some pressure off of Bryce Williams, especially defensively. Good role guy. I put CJ Wilcher in this category, and then Josiah Alec at 6'8". Okay, you can get away with those guys as your wings. I think that's a solid group right there, however you want to order them. Where I think you run into some issues is your guard rotation, because your guards aren't huge. Aaron Eulis is one of the bigger guards. He's a grown man kind of addition, a guy you can trust. I don't know what his ceiling is. I think he's a floor raiser. Ramel Lloyd, I think, could be a ceiling raiser, but it's his first season. You have KEISEI, who at 6'2", we know. DeMarcus Lawrence at 6'3", not huge, still growing. And then Sam Hoiberg, who played his way into a role. You have 5 guards right there that are clearly not the same player, but there's a lot of overlap in their skills.
Yeah, I agree. I'll second what you said about Bryce Williams. It makes it, obviously, hindsight's 2020. It makes it really interesting for me to think back And what if Nebraska could have gotten the services of Javian McCollum, the Siena transfer, right? Because now you're really cooking, because you're probably not getting Aaron Eulis if you get Javian McCollum, but obviously Eulis, a point guard, started all but 6 games for the Hawkeyes last season, but a guy at 6'3", 190, but then you just look at the size differential. Now Bryce Williams isn't going to necessarily be playing point guard, but you look at the size differential. Bryce Williams, 6'7", 215 pounds. 6'7", 215. And he's listed as a guard, probably going to play the 3, I would imagine.
On a properly sized team, he's a good size 2, but I think he plays a lot of 3, even some 4.
Okay, so there's 6'7", 215 pound Bryce Williams. I don't know. I mean, if you had to put your starting lineup out there right now, Austin, who are your 5? Because there's a lot of intrigue for me with Ramel Lloyd Jr. There's so much intrigue because I think there were a lot of fans, and myself included, interested to see him last season. And then unfortunately you got the red shirt. They chose to red shirt. And that's a year and a half now of just practice and let's see it now. We're so ready because coming out of Sierra Canyon in California and playing with Bronny and playing with Amari Bailey, who went to UCLA at Sierra Canyon, there's this excitement around a recruit like that. And now, a year and a half removed from him coming into Lincoln, I think there's so much just intrigue of what he looks like on the court.
I have been on the Ramel hype train since he committed to Nebraska. He looks good when we saw him at Cedars. He looks like a Big Ten caliber, guard. Curious to see if they want him running the 1, if he's going to be a 2, or if he has to slide. If he has to slide up to the 3, I'm a little worried. If he can be a long, rangy guard, I think it's been a minute since Nebraska's had a guard at that size. Maybe a little more explosive than JPJ is, from what I've seen. So I think there's that there. And that's where I hope Fred Hoiberg doesn't hold him back. If Ramel Lloyd is that dude, if he comes in and proves he's ready to play, don't shackle him, right? Let him be himself, because he can be a difference maker if he's ready, if he's allowed to be.
Here's what's weird and just kind of wild, just to look at the size on this roster.
What size? There's not much.
Well, how they're listed, I should say.
Sure.
You look at potentially, so Eulis at the point, right? You have 6'3", 190 pounds. I'm intrigued by Eli Rice at IMG. He had a good finals year at IMG. We've already talked about Bryce Williams' size at 6'7", 215. But what's interesting is you have Bryce Williams at 6'7", 215, while Jawan Gary's listed at 6'6", 215. I'm really intrigued to see where Jawan is at here. I don't know what's he look like just after the last
injury.
the shoulder injury. Gosh, I wanted to say knee. I knew Emmanuel Bandemel's was knee. I didn't. I knew it wasn't Gary. After the shoulder injury, what's it? Does he still have that physical ability to just go right at guys? Like
what can it last 30-some games?
Yeah, that was really promising in Big Ten play. And then Jamarcus Lawrence, obviously. So if you had to name your starting 5 right now, who are they?
Eulis, Tominaga, Williams, Gary, Mast.
Okay. So Blaze Cade off the bench, Lawrence off the bench.
Ramel, CJ, Sam.
See, that's where it's like, I hate to go one-on-one. Who are you putting?
Josiah Alec off the bench.
Yeah. So Josiah Alec. Does Eli Rice redshirt or does he play?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he redshirts.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of options. Which I guess is a good thing to have if you're Fred Hoiberg. It's something that maybe you haven't had the luxury of the last couple years to say. Because I think a lot of Husker fans would say you're comfortable enough with Jamarcus Lawrence starting
big time,
but maybe you don't need him to, and you put a guy like Bryce Williams in there. So that's interesting to think about.
Bryce Williams didn't move up a level to ride the bench. That's an all-conference USA.
No, and exactly. And Bryce should start. It's just, is there a chance Bryce starts over Jawan?
I think Jawan brings enough. Okay, let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll talk about this during the break and come back with it if we don't have a contestant for shootout. I want Nick to play, though.
Yeah, let's
so
play.
Call 402-464-5685. $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings on the line. If you can beat Nick, tall task. See if you can do it next.
Celebrate the start of June in style with 2 great drinking events in Lincoln. First, this Friday, the Beer House's grand opening as they show off their expansion to double the size of their building. The party starts at 3 p.m. with live polka music starting at 7. And on Saturday, make plans to head on over to Sideshow Spirits and Cider for the first annual Nebraska Whiskey Carnival. Enjoy local Nebraska distilleries and their spirits, food vendors, and more. Event starts at 3 p.m. Buy your tickets ahead of time at SideshowSpirits.com. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. But there is stuff to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Scattered thunderstorms a possibility today. It will be another warm one. We'll top out at around 87. South winds a little strong, gusting over 20 at times. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 65. More chances of thunderstorms tomorrow and remaining warm with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now 464-5685 to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Strick tapped out. He tapped out. Nick's playing the shootout with Nick. You played once since I've been here?
Once since you've been here. I think I'm 2-0 in my times filling in for Strick on the shootout.
Heck yeah.
So there is an undefeated record on the line. Don't feel that confident in situations like these, though.
Well, you're going for it anyways,
Okay.
confident or not. We do have a competitor for you. We welcome in Justin on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Justin, what's up, man?
How we doing, guys?
We're good.
What's up?
I'm doing better than Nick. I don't have the butterflies.
Yeah, Justin, how confident do you feel just knowing that you're going against me?
Oh, I'm so.
Okay, well, I would say you should probably feel pretty good.
Well, both of you are getting questions about the second 8 seed ever to advance to the NBA Finals, the Miami Heat. That's the topic of the day. Justin, hold on the line for me. We'll give Nick his 4 questions first, and then we'll get to you. All right, Nick, ready or not, here we go. He played the most career games with the Heat, Dwayne Wade or Alonzo Mourning?
Dwayne Wade.
Yep. He averaged the most rebounds per game with the Heat, Alonzo Mourning or Hassan Whiteside?
Alonzo Mourning.
It was Whiteside.
Oh.
He has the best career 3-point percentage as a member of the Heat, Jason Capono or Jay Crowder?
Capono.
Yep, and he's made the most career 3-pointers with the Miami Heat. Got to pull a name yourself this one.
Dwayne Wade. I highly doubt. I don't think it's Dwayne Wade.
It's a good guess.
Okay.
He's on the list. It's a current member, Duncan Robinson.
Really?
Already has the most career made
Jeez, wouldn't have thought about it would be a current player.
Of the Heat.
Okay.
I know.
Okay. Well, not horrible, not great though.
2 for 4.
Okay.
50%. All right, Justin,
Yikes.
2 to tie, 3 to win. Are you ready for your round of the shootout?
I'm ready.
All right, starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He scored the most career points with the Heat, Dwayne Wade or Glenn Rice?
Dwayne Wade.
Yep, he grabbed the most career rebounds with the Heat, Rony Sekali or Udonis Haslem?
Udonis Haslem.
Yep, he has the best career field goal percentage with the Heat, Bam Adebayo or Shaquille O'Neal?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep, and he has the most career triple doubles with the Heat.
Dwayne Wade.
Another good guess. D Wade's further down the list. It is not one of the big 3. It's Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Butler.
Butler has the most in Heat history. So, Justin, thanks for playing. You win.
Nice job, Justin.
I think I got a bunch of layups.
No, I don't know about that. I just I'm not the biggest Miami Heat savant, I suppose.
Either am I.
Well, Justin, hold on the line. We'll get your information down in just a sec. But Rico's got to play the tiebreaker. We bring him in here real quick. I'm going to make Rico guess the number. Nick will go over under.
Perfect. I like that idea.
Sorry, I'm watching volleyball.
How's it going, by the way?
They won the first set 25-8. I don't want to jinx anything, but Kennedy Orr looks damn good.
So we were talking.
But they only have So the problem is
we gotta wait. We gotta get this going.
Okay, yep, we'll do.
We have to talk because I
we'll
want to
talk about it during the break.
How good the team that they're playing in the Brazilian Super League is needs to be talked about.
Yeah,
and what they're doing to them. So that's big.
Okay, so Rico, the question for you: how many triple doubles does Jimmy Butler have as a member of the Miami Heat? For reference, he has played there 4 seasons and 290 games across the playoffs and regular season.
10.
10 is the number. Nick, over under?
That's really tough. How many games?
290 games.
Over.
Nick got it. 11.
Just like that. That was a really good. That was a really good line.
Honestly, like for me, I just needed the years. I didn't need the amount of games because it doesn't matter. Because you have Russell Westbrook, who has like 1 million triple doubles.
Yep.
Nikola Jokic has 1 million triple doubles. LeBron James, I don't know, probably has like 18 or something.
LeBron only had 9 as a member of the Heat.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Second most in franchise.
Like it just doesn't. We've seen it so much from players that it seems like it should happen more, but it's still really hard to do.
It is, and I would wager that most of Jimmy's have come in the playoffs.
More than likely.
That's
okay.
my guess.
Here. So we'll have Austin set the line, and
I'll go over under.
Go over under on this one. How many career triple doubles does LeBron James have?
LeBron has
This is according to StatMuse.
Okay.
I actually think I know I'm pretty close to the number.
Braun had
He had 2 this year.
103.
Okay.
What'd you say?
103.
His career high was in 2017-2018 when he had 18 triple doubles in his final year with the Cavs after returning. You want to go under 103?
No, over, because he passed Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson had a lot. Over.
107. Nice line once again, man.
Nice.
Some good lines being set here today in Vegas.
That's that basketball knowledge right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at us go. We roll along into hour 2.
Congrats to Justin.
Yeah, Justin did it. $30 at Buffalo Wings and Rings is his. We roll along into hour 2 of On the Block, talking coaching salaries. How do coaches earn their money? Specifically with Monty Williams. That's the example we're going to start with, and we'll probably talk some more Husker hoops as we go. Again, hour 2 On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket next.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Our lives only have so much time. But if you smoke, you have less. Your life could be 10 years shorter. And the time you do have is often filled with health problems. Shortness of breath, asthma, COPD, and cancer. But the moment you quit, your body starts healing.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Join us on Tuesday, June 6th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 40th and Old Cheney for Customer Appreciation Day. Enjoy 59-cent wings all day and your favorite sports talk show hosts on the air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang out with us for Customer Appreciation Day on Tuesday, June 6th at the 40th and Old Cheney Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Aloe is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Aloe has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Aloe as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Aloe communities.
General contractors, business owners, property owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people, when it comes to drywall, acoustical ceilings, and specialty products, are at Premier Drywall. Kevin and his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You'll get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone who's been in the business for 30 years. For your new builds, build-outs, or renovations, reach out to Kevin. Kevin at PremierDW.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
A lot of businesses say that they're family focused. But when tough situations in life arise, the business feels anything but for your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, as they do with customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with the purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsorats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Scattered thunderstorms a possibility today. It will be another warm one. We'll top out at around 87. South winds a little strong, gusting over 20 at times. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 65. More chances of thunderstorms tomorrow and remaining warm. A high of 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Well, at least Austin. Again, Strick's out today. Should be back tomorrow as far as I know. We got Nick filling in. There'll be 3 straight hours of radio. 3 1/4 with a crossover.
3 1/4.
That's a marathon.
Yeah, and then plus the 2 hours before earlier this morning.
True.
Not bad, though. It's fine. It's going to be a good day.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Austin. It's always fun to mix and match every now and then.
That it is. Speaking of mix and match, Strick and I don't talk a whole lot of volleyball. We kind of pride ourselves on being the basketball show for the most part on the station. But Husker volleyball doing its thing apparently down in Brazil.
Yeah, so Nebraska volleyball is out in Brazil right now, and they're playing. I don't want to butcher the team name that they're playing, but nonetheless, they're playing this team in Brazil who plays in the Brazilian Super League. Is what it's called. Let me go to Lincoln Arneal's Twitter because he laid it out really well. So the Huskers are taking on Minas Tani Clube. It's like basically club, right?
Yeah.
The runner-up in the Brazilian Volleyball Super League in 2022 and 2023. They are a 5-time league champion of the Super League. They've won it in 1993, 2002, but more importantly, in 2019, 2021, and 2022. They won the Brazilian Volleyball Super League. Well, Nebraska won the first set against them 25-8. And so that is something that you could probably hang your hat on just a little bit. Nebraska volleyball, just absolutely unbelievable once again.
It looks like they're up 12-10 right now.
Okay.
In the second set, I have it pulled up. I'd be curious to know. It's a professional team they're playing.
Yes,
right. Yeah.
I'm curious if it's like the U20 team, if it's like the under, similar to like soccer, where USA will have like the U18 national team. I'd be more inclined to believe that it's probably their 20 and under, their U20 national team.
Rico was mentioning the one camera angle, and yeah, I mean, Nebraska looks bigger, faster, stronger,
Yeah.
more athletic. The players on the Brazil side do look about the same age range, so I think that's a really good call.
Perfect. So it might not be the actual the older team, but the developmental team, if you will, the under 20 team.
And we got the black shorts out.
That's right. It's all black uniforms I saw on the stream. If you want to check out the stream, because we got a text about it a little bit earlier, if you want to go watch the stream while you have us on the radio, because don't turn us off, keep us on your radio while you maybe stream it on your computer or something from your cubicle. You can go over to the Husker Volleyball Twitter page. You can go on to huskers.com. There's a couple other places that you can go, but hurry up fast, because if things continue the way that it seems like they are, it might be a quick exhibition game for Nebraska here.
That it might. As they keep going, might want to talk some more Husker volleyball, what the expectations are, and how long does John Cook have left in it? That's something I heard rumblings behind the scenes that would have been the Krause Batenhorst class. He was going to see them through. That was his last 4-year promise,
which
was what I heard behind
2 years left.
Yes.
Just 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's what's interesting is, and then down the road also, like, we obviously don't need to go down deep into this rabbit hole, but like who succeeds him, right? Is it Danny Busboom Kelly's job? Do you see, like, Jordan Larson hasn't gotten into major coaching, right? She went to Texas and helped out for a short amount of time, but she's still playing with USA.
Do you bring Hildenbrand back? Is it Jalen Reyes' job?
And that's what's weird is, like, Jalen Reyes is such a talented recruiter and just overall coach, and has been so instrumental and valuable to this dynasty that Nebraska has been able to build, that he is so valuable to it. It's like, I mean, you're right. Is it his? I mean, Tyler Hildebrand went to his alma mater at Long Beach State, and that's where he's the head coach now at. But man, it's tough to think about, because it's weird thinking about, like, for me personally, a volleyball team not coached by John Cook.
Bizarre. Yeah. Well, even going back before that with Terry Pettit, as long as he ran that program the way he did,
you're absolutely right.
And that's where I wonder if, John Cook deserves to do things his way. He has more than earned that right. He is as close to unimpeachable as you can get in this state. I wonder if he follows the same succession plan, bring in your replacement for a year, let him sit on the bench and go from there. How much of it's in John Cook's control? How much of it is Trev Albert's call? How much of it is Ted Carter's call with the new,
that's right,
reimagining of the power structure?
Do you wonder, or I should say, do you ever worry about Nebraska taking a step back in volleyball?
I think Nebraska did that in the kind of late 2000s, early 2010s, where they won that title in 2005 and then went forever with that one. They're still in the tournament, obviously, still, the top of the Big 12, but struggled to make it to Final Fours, even Elite Eights. So if that's what a step back looks like, I can think of, 120 programs in the country that would kill for that.
Oh, exactly. You're exactly right. But I mean, think about just the dynasty that Nebraska's on right now. Is their Final Four is, I don't want to say something we're used to, because I don't want to.
Oh, we are. We're used to it.
I don't want to devalue how important it is or how impressive it is to go to a Final Four. So I want to be careful with how I word this, but like, that's what we're used to seeing and we're comfortable at, is like a Final Four appearance, a national championship appearance, and more than likely you're also doing it in the Big Ten Conference that's really talented in volleyball, right? And so you look at, I think, what Nebraska's been able to do, and is a step back inevitable when you change coaches? I don't know, because guess what? You have a potential coach in Danny Busboom, who, I mean, those options that we just said, right? Tyler Hildebrand has USA experience. Danny Busboom led a team to the Final Four last year in Louisville. You have Jalen Reyes, who's been a part of your thing for a substantial amount of time. And you always continue to reload and rebuild and just continue to chug forward, whether you lose a couple players to the transfer portal and despite just nonstop top recruits signing to your program.
Here's the other absolutely hilarious kind of history repeats itself option. Do you poach Wisconsin's guy? Because John Cook was an assistant at Wisconsin. Do you pay the big bucks to Kelly Sheffield?
That is such a fascinating idea. Because how disappointed is this place if they're not getting a Nebraska player, or if they're not getting somebody with Nebraska tie?
John Cook didn't really have Nebraska ties.
That's
He was
true.
out at San Diego, went to Wisconsin.
Rico has thoughts. Come on, Rico.
But it's the same discussion we had with football.
It is.
Do you need an insider or do you need an outsider?
Man,
what's better? I think both work.
You don't need an insider. Kelly Sheffield would be fantastic, but if you look at the John Cook coaching tree and what he has been able to put out there, you have an endless supply of people who are doing big things
That's
at big
true.
universities. And in my mind, it's Jalen Reyes and Danny Busboom Kelly are 1A, 1B because
are they better coaches than Kelly Sheffield?
What?
Are they better coaches than Kelly Sheffield?
They've been coaching for a less amount of time.
You can't afford to get hung up on the internal ties.
And
We've done that in football before.
It's not the internal ties. It's the fact that Danny Busboom Kelly comes from the John Cook coaching tree. You can internal tie. You can whatever with that. But you see what she's done with a Louisville squad that was not a national power.
Correct.
She's been in the NCAA tournament year after year. She's been a top seed in the NCAA tournament. She went to a Final Four last year. She's doing nothing but succeeding at Louisville. If she were to, and the other thing is, in her contract that she signed, the only team that she can leave Louisville for without having to pay her contract back is Nebraska.
It's just so wild. How crucial will it be for Trev Alberts, whoever the athletic director is, at that time when John Cook decides to retire and move on? How important and crucial will that hire be?
It's Cook's choice. It's Cook's choice.
You think?
It's Cook's choice.
Okay.
John Cook is, I think, in that Coach K realm of he gets to pick who he wants next. But I do think that can only go so far. Because here's the thing. I get that he's John Cook. Like I just said, he's basically unimpeachable. He's earned the right to say who he wants his successor to be. But it would be bad for the athletic director, the president, to say, yep, whoever you want, coach, throw him in, no questions asked. You still have to do your due diligence because as good as John Cook is, as much benefit of the doubt he's earned, you're still his boss. But you still are looking at the athletic department holistically. Is this person fit in the culture? Do I trust their vision as much as John Cook does? John Cook's word holds a lot of weight, as it should. But I don't know if he gets 100% say so. 75%, sure, at least.
But the thing is, with that is, do you really think he's going to choose somebody that wouldn't be beneficial to the program? Because if he's going to choose somebody, if he's choosing somebody, that person's already, if they're not at the top of your list, they're near the top of your list. In terms of somebody that he would want leading a program that he and Terry Pettit built into this monster that it is. He's not going to choose somebody just based off of a personal favor or off of, I really like this person, I think they'll do well. It's this person is really good. I believe this person is really good, and they will be able to lead this program and continue what I built.
I'm with you. This is where I'd love to have been privy to the conversations after 1997 in football.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what we're doing. We've had our Devaney to Osborne with Pettit to Cook. Who's going to be the Solich? Frank Solich, from everything I've read and heard, was the right hire at the time. Selected by Tom Osborne, had been around forever, worked his way up, was there. Could Nebraska have gone outside the family and done better than Frank Solich? It wouldn't have been popular. But was there someone out there that Nebraska could have swung for the fences and gone? I don't know.
That's a whole other side of it also, is like, who wants to take this job after John Cook?
You never want to follow the guy.
I mean, John Cook chose to follow Terry Pettit, right?
Off a bet.
And he held up
and
he exceeded, and he's built it even to something bigger.
Like Osborne did at
right?
Danny.
Yes. And now it's like, that's where it's curious enough to where it's, if Jalen Reyes takes it, or if Danny Busboom Kelly takes it, Danny Busboom just takes it, and let's say Nebraska doesn't make a Final Four, like what's the conversation in 3 or 4 years?
5 years, okay,
3 to 5 years.
Are they getting past the? Are they getting to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight?
Sweet 16, maybe 1 or 2 Elite Eights.
Have they won the conference, or are they sitting second or third?
A little bit of both. Like Nebraska is now in the conference, but nationally, nationally. What's the conversation?
It's the Frank Solich one.
And that's bonkers.
But if you compare it directly with Frank Solich, you're getting to a national championship at some point. You're just losing. You're having a national player of the year. You're having top recruiting classes year in and year out. You're continuing the regular season winning, maybe a couple surprise losses here and there, but you make it to a national championship. You lose. You're doing all of these great things. It's just not to the exact same level. And I think don't get this twisted, Nebraska volleyball fans. The best thing that could happen for the next person is what has happened, where they haven't won national championships. Not saying that they won't. If they win another one, that'd be great. And that'd be fantastic for whoever ends up following because they'll get some better recruits. But the best thing to happen is that John Cook isn't winning back-to-back national titles,
but man,
to end his tenure.
You look at this roster and recruiting class year after year, and shout out to John Cook and more importantly, Jalen Reyes for that as well. This is the roster that you're sitting here going national champion potential. Like the back-to-back is a possibility.
It's such a young roster. You're outside of transfers, you're not going to lose anybody off of this current roster next season.
My goodness.
I want to go with this from Bryce on the text line. He says, whoever takes over needs to be a small ego person who isn't desperate with putting their stamp on the program. Yes and no. A small ego person that you realize the program is always bigger than you. John Cook realizes that. John Cook is very confident in what he's doing. He helped build this to where it is.
I was to say rightfully so.
As he should.
Yeah.
Yes. So John Cook has that, competitive ego, but it's not all about John Cook. So there's that. You have to have a big enough ego in the sense of you have to be confident enough to be the person to follow the guy. Because if you have a small, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I don't know if I deserve this. You have to tell yourself that you do, that you're here for a reason. But at the same time, you can't say, I don't like what this coach did. No, I have a completely different style. We're going to run, a 5-1 instead of a 6-2, yada, yada. There's a balance to be drawn there. And that's where I think it's interesting as a Duke basketball fan, having just watched this with John Shire and Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
John Shire was on a lot of those, 35 under 35 lists where everyone saw he was a rising coach. He's not Mike Krzyzewski. You have different personalities. They have different styles. They're running a lot of the same stuff because that's the system John Shire played in. But the way John Shire relates to recruits is different. Some of the schematics are different. But again, as much as it was about Coach K at Duke, John Shire's made it about Duke as a program. As I think, even though the conversation was there with Coach K, he tried to make it about the program more so than him. And I think Nebraska volleyball is in a very similar spot.
I mean, whoever does take this job, whenever it does become available,
we're talking about it like it's happening.
Yeah,
right?
Which it's going to be a couple years down the road here. They're going to have all the resources at their disposal, which is not common necessarily in volleyball, right? Volleyball, I won't say it's right up there with football, but it is prioritized at Nebraska. And we're reminded of it year after year with the spring matches, with 1,700 plus people watching a stream against a U20 Brazilian team when the Huskers are in Brazil on June 1st. And just over and over, we are reminded on how deep and important Husker volleyball is in this state, especially when they go to Final Fours and when they go to national titles. People travel for football. Sometimes people will travel maybe for baseball, but people will travel just as much, if not more than baseball, for volleyball.
You're going to get 91,000 inside a football stadium for a volleyball match.
That is bonkers.
By the way, extra tickets went on sale today.
Standing room only.
The site crashed 8 minutes before it opened.
Yeah.
Here's the last question before we step aside for a break. Obviously, Danny Busboom Kelly was here, played here.
Mm-hmm.
Is she
coached here?
She did. That's what I'm saying. She was here as a player and then coach. Is she the Kirby Smart to John Cook's Nick Saban?
Okay, so Kirby Smart to
Georgia. Was there, was an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She saw what John Cook did, but I don't think she's doing things the exact same way as John Cook.
She is not.
Kirby Smart has the Alabama blueprint because he was there, but he and Nick Saban are not the same person.
No. Yeah,
I think that's a great comparison. I think that's spot on.
In that case, if you're Alabama, are you going to try to poach Kirby Smart?
That's where it's
try to poach
do you try to get the next best thing?
But that's just something that I've had a conversation with my wife, who's a massive volleyball fan, Nebraska volleyball fan, hey, careful how I say this. I don't want her to build a massive lasting legacy in the next few years at Louisville. I want her to be successful. I don't want her to win national titles, because if she does, she might fall in love with it. If she falls in love with it, if she is choice number 1, she might not leave. And that's
Probably
the difference with Kirby and Nick, is because I don't think Kirby, even if Alabama came calling, I think he's built up Georgia back-to-back national titles enough where he's like, look, I'm good. I've got what I need here.
I still think, though, when you think of football at this point, currently the pinnacle is Alabama.
Probably the most historic.
And in volleyball, you have, I don't know, is it a three-way race?
It's Penn
Nebraska,
State.
Penn State, Stanford.
It's Penn State and Stanford are 1 and 2. Nebraska is right.
And then where does a team like Texas fall into there?
Same place as football.
They're top 10.
Yeah.
No, they're top 5. They're up there.
I was going to say, I think when you look at
Penn State, Stanford, Nebraska, your top 3, regardless of the order, although I would probably put Penn State first because of the run that Russ Rhodes went on in the, I think it was the early 2000s when they won like 5 straight national titles.
Well, John Cook, once he joined the Big Ten, built Nebraska to stop Penn State.
Yep.
And that's what Wisconsin did to Nebraska.
Yes.
Kelly Sheffield built Wisconsin to stop Nebraska.
Like, that's where it's like, once you get to those in volleyball, and maybe this is the same as football when you look at jobs, and I guess maybe this kind of navigates into our next conversation that was going to take place in this segment, Austin. But maybe at that point, it's like, once you get to one of those pinnacle jobs, and with parity, with parity in collegiate athletics now, you're getting to this place where Georgia, Alabama, I don't want to throw USC in there. You can't because they're not having success right now. Georgia and Alabama, right? If we want to use the Kirby and Nick Saban comparison, is the same, similar job to where in volleyball you have Nebraska, Penn State, at this point Wisconsin, I suppose. Wisconsin,
they only have one
Stanford.
national
Curious
title.
to see if Wisconsin.
Yes, but there's it's a priority.
It is.
And there's investment. That's the word I was looking for. There's investment in it. Stanford, and Texas.
I feel like there's another school we're forgetting. Florida's been up there. There's
teams that have been up there, but
there's a school we're forgetting.
Let's take a break.
Like UCLA,
we'll think about it.
USC, UCLA being added is big.
That's big. Man,
let's think about it over break. We'll come back, keep the conversation going. I've got one other spin on it that I want to throw your guys' way. We'll do that next on the block.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Scattered thunderstorms a possibility today. It will be another warm one. We'll top out at around 87. South winds a little strong, gusting over 20 at times. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight with a low of 65. More chances of thunderstorms tomorrow and remaining warm with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club, or space club, and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over. Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Old School with DP and J.
Remember, we still got to factor in the offensive line, the receivers
I'm
we
not
don't know
factoring
about.
I'm looking at individual here. Chuba has not done anything to date here.
He's been a starter here.
Oh, and
he's been a starter.
Okay,
here.
and the
That's
coach
one
got,
more.
Two coaches
that's
got
one,
fired.
He didn't get him fired. Look, Chuba ain't the reason why.
I'm not saying he get fired, but he didn't do anything. He didn't stop me from just this.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shop for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rolling right along here on the block. Thanks, Rinko, for popping in. But our assistant program director apparently has bigger, better things to do than spend time with us on the show. So whatever, we appreciate his contributions when and where we get them. Keeping this conversation going, it seems like there's a lot of prevailing thought on the text line that Danny Busboom Kelly would come back. Again, probably. I don't want to speak for her, Because I also think Danny Busboom Kelly and any Nebraska affiliated coach is smart enough to see what happened with Scott Frost and say, let me take a beat, make sure that I'm going to be supported, make sure that I'm cut out for this, and then dive in head first.
Now, I will say that 2025 or whenever John Cook decides to hang it up, that Nebraska volleyball program will be in a heck of a better spot than 2018 Nebraska football.
Correct.
Heck of a better spot.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
This is another question I had. Again, my first thought was which professional coaches, I don't want to say worth their salaries because, you know, they're good at what they do. They're valuable in that way. But it came to me because Monty Williams making $78.5 million over 6 years with the Pistons. And that's a lot. And he has to do a lot of building. But we're on the college conversation. I think that's more what our audience is focused on. So what college coaches are in that way worth their salary? Nick Saban, worth it to sustain. Well, rebuild Alabama from, you know, what it was. Didn't even, you know, they were down for Alabama. Nick Saban rebuilt that and has sustained. Kirby Smart was worth it to get Georgia over that hump. They were really good under Mark Richt.
Not to where they're at now.
No. Kirby Smart is worth it since they took that next step. Dabo Swinney, worth whatever Clemson's paying him because he got them relevant. Now, if Clemson slips a little bit from where they were, maybe he's not because he built it. Maybe they need a new voice at some point. Probably not soon. 10 years, 15 years, maybe. Is Lincoln Riley worth it for USC? Jury's out on that. Is Matt Rule worth it for Nebraska? I don't know. But this is where I ask you, Nick. Is it more worth it for Nebraska to pay Matt Rule, you know, between $7.5 and $9 million a year for the next 8 to rebuild it? Or is it more worth it to Georgia to pay Kirby Smart what it did to take that next step?
I think you have to build it. Because can I say it depends on the situation? Like I don't want to cop out with an answer like that, but
you're right.
I mean, Georgia and Nebraska in that, if we're using that, right? If we're comparing when Kirby Smart got hired to when Matt Rule got hired, Nebraska and Georgia, two completely different situations. It would be more of Nebraska when they fired Bo Pelini to Georgia when they fired Mark Richt. Right.
Sure.
I would say because they're both, Mark Richt was around the 9-10 wins, maybe screeched out an 11-win season in there. Same with Bo, right?
Well, Bo just got 9 or 10.
Bo just got 9 or 10, never won a conference title, you know, got to 2, but never got to 3, never won one though. I think it's incredibly important there in that situation that you have to go out. And this is something that Nebraska did not do under Sean Eichhorst. This is something that Nebraska struggled with. They found a guy that off the field was the opposite of Bo Pelini, and on the field didn't really do anything that Bo Pelini did, if that makes sense. Where Georgia went and got a guy that Mark Richt was the 9 wins was the basement for Kirby Smart. But they found a guy that could elevate it to this national caliber type of team. Now Nebraska with Matt Rule, after Scott Frost, bottom of the barrel in terms of expectations for Nebraska, what we expect Nebraska to look like. So now they cannot even worry about finding a guy to exceed Bo Pelini's expectation. You have to figure out a guy to exceed or to get back to Bo Pelini. Right. And then you worry about from that next step, if you decide to move on, once again, if you think 9 wins every year isn't enough, then you find that next step to where it's okay. How can we take the 9 wins and exceed that? Who's out there that can exceed 9 wins every year? Mike Riley obviously wasn't that guy.
He did get to 9.
He did get to 9. Started 7-0 though.
He did.
And had a road win against Indiana.
We've picked that season apart time and time again. John Cook, I looked this up, making $675K. Which, again, it's less about that number specifically because John Cook is worth more than that. Even in college volleyball, which, again, isn't a huge moneymaker, but is growing in popularity. I think the great work that Nebraska has done has made the Nebraska club scene pop and sent players all across the country from the club scene and the high school scene. So John Cook's pure, dollars and cents value might be that. He seems to think it is. That's what he signed on for. But clearly what John Cook is doing is worth way more than that for the state and for just the game of volleyball. We talk a lot about coaches' salaries because they're important. They're figures to know. But it's a different conversation from college to the pros because you can't think about college coaches' salaries in relation to a salary cap like you would in the NBA or the NFL. And I get it. The coaches' salaries don't count against that. But if you think of, say Monty Williams making, $12, $13 million a year, think of him as a player that you signed for 6 years and $78 million. That to me changes the calculus. Is a coach worth that much, on the court value in terms of wins and losses? Probably not. But you think of kind of that additional surplus value on the periphery. Do they put butts in seats? Do they change the culture behind the scenes? And that to me has to factor into the conversation of contracts.
It's interesting. So, I mean, two completely different situations that Monty Williams was in, this last season, and now what he's walking into with Detroit. And so, Detroit's a team that won 17 games, I believe, this last year.
65.
They won 17 games, and at times felt like they were trying for that first overall pick to get Wembanyama.
And managed to slide as low as they could to 5.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate but funny.
But you look at what he was dealing with. It's going to be interesting because you look at what he was dealing with in Phoenix, and they get Kevin Durant, and it still isn't enough to make the NBA Finals. They have a guy in DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, right? An experienced point guard in Chris Paul. And it still wasn't enough to make the NBA Finals. But we talk about that guy that takes, is that coach one of those that can elevate you to that top of the top, right? Or is he that coach that can just get you to a certain part, which is still a good season, but doesn't result in championships?
Right.
And I don't know what Monty Williams is like, but it's two different situations now where he was with Phoenix trying to get them to the NBA Finals, and now here he is going through a rebuild with Detroit.
And I think he's going to be good for Detroit because I think he has a great personality to connect with these young players to help them build and grow. But Nebraska volleyball post John Cook, again, I hope that's not for another decade, but we'll have to see. That's up to John Cook, is much closer to Phoenix than it is Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more comparable to walking into your, 2017-18 Golden State Warriors or your, 2011-12 Miami Heat than it is your, 2023-24 Detroit Pistons. And I think that goes a long way. The reason I bring up the money too is that I could see both options being true, that Nebraska's next coach makes less than John Cook did, but could also make more because it's going to take more to, lure a Kelly Sheffield, Danny Buzzboom Kelly type away from their job. But if it is, like a Jalen Reyes or a Tyler Hildenbrand, just to use names that have been here, probably less than what John Cook's making right now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. When you look back at Monty Williams, though, here, this is maybe why you saw such a lucrative deal with the Detroit Pistons. So if you look at when Monty took over in Phoenix, they were 19-63 in 2018 and 2019. Right. Monty Williams comes in after being an associate coach or assistant coach with the Philadelphia 76ers, I believe, is where he came from prior to Phoenix, at least. And in his first year, they drafted DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton was a rookie in 2019-2020, and they finished 10th in the West, 34-39. Then it's a 51-21 record in 2020-2021. Then a 64-18 record. Now this season, 45-37. So if you're Detroit here and using the Nebraska football model, right, you're going, this is a guy that just less than 8 years ago with Phoenix has shown the ability to rebuild an organization with draft picks, right? And a lot of the same guys. Mikal Bridges was on that team when
Monty got there.
In 2019. Thank you. I hit a lull.
There's a lot of names thrown out.
But yeah, so I mean, you sit there and go, $72 million. Is that worth it to get Detroit into a playoff? And right. For a team that won 17 games, you're getting desperate, I think. A team that has had a couple higher draft picks over the last couple of years. One of them that you used on Cade Cunningham, who hasn't been able to stay healthy, if I remember correctly, for a lot of it.
Surgery.
Yeah, and so you're hoping that Monty Williams can come in, and you're paying him the right amount of money to draw a coach like that to Detroit, which may not be the most attractive gig, right? When you've won 17 games this last season, I think you're paying for a coach to get you through a rebuild and try to steady the ship a little bit, when he was able to do it with Phoenix just in 2018, 2019.
Right. And that's where I think Monty Williams will be an X's and O's upgrade. But to me, that hire is less about that, because is Detroit in the playoffs in 3 years? I don't think so.
No.
Looking at their roster, I mean, really, you have Cade Cunningham, maybe Jalen Duren, and Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
Those to me are the real building blocks. You have no wing depth. You have your best players being centers and two guys that need the ball in their hands a lot. Mm-hmm. That's a tough sell. Nebraska volleyball is in the NCAA tournament in 3 years. Nebraska volleyball, if they keep this group together, is a Final Four team in 3 years. I mean, obviously, the upperclassmen will move on, and that's where the transience of college sports can vary in some ways from professional sports. But there's a more solid foundation where I think it's going to be important for Nebraska volleyball to pay a sustainer, because I don't think there's going to be a drop-off to pay someone to help keep Nebraska volleyball where it's at. Whereas I think it was the right move to pay Matt Rule. Maybe, we can go back and forth on the exact amount, but to pay top dollar for a coach like Matt Rule to rebuild, because he's proven he can do that. You shouldn't need that type of person in Nebraska volleyball.
Oddly, yes, exactly. Which I mean, in turn, could make the hire and the process more intriguing from the outside perspective.
Big time.
Because it's almost more of a, I guess I would ask you a question. Is there more pressure to make a hire when you're a when you're a dynasty, or is there more pressure when you're at the bottom of the barrel?
I'm going to go back and forth on this one too. And I think it's different kinds of pressure.
Yeah.
I think the narrative is that it's more important to make a hire when you're trying to continue or revive a dynasty that's still moderately to relatively successful, but hasn't taken that next step.
Yeah.
Whereas for the future of the franchise or the program, whichever level, it's probably more meaningful long-term if you hit on someone to build it into that.
Yeah.
If that's fair.
Yeah. It's interesting. Oddly enough, going back to the NBA, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but going back to the NBA with the Detroit Pistons, who just hired Monty Williams for $72.5 million, I believe.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that over a long time. Monty Williams obviously just got let go from the Phoenix Suns. And oddly enough, in 2018, 2019, when Monty had his first year with the Phoenix Suns, that was the last year that the Detroit Pistons made the playoffs. They were 41-41. It was also the first time since 2015 that they had been at 500 or above, and they lost in the first round. That was under first-year head coach at the time, Dwayne KEISEI.
Dwayne KEISEI, who had just gotten fired from the Raptors and picked up his Coach of the Year award as a member of the Detroit Pistons.
So, I mean, you just look at some of these records with the Detroit Pistons since that year in Dwayne KEISEI's first year, where they lost in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. They were 41-41 in 2018, 2019, 20-46, 20-52, 23-59, and then 17-65. I mean, and just going back more farther, 37-45, 39-43. I mean, you haven't had sustained success since Flip Saunders was your coach and you lost in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 straight years. If I remember correctly, from like 05 to 08, maybe 05 to 07, I guess.
In 04.
They won the finals in 04. And that was with Larry Brown as their coach.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just, you're paying top dollar amount for a guy. And part of that's probably to get him to go to Detroit.
Has to be.
Like, just the place that
bad
you're going.
Team tax.
Right? Because if I don't know, the Chicago Bulls are an example. The Chicago Bulls were in a play-in game. If they decided to move on from Billy Donovan, where's a more attractive landing spot if you are Monty Williams? Chicago and looking at the rosters, right? Chicago or Detroit? I don't know. But I feel like probably location and roster, and you talked about little to no depth in Detroit outside of, Ivy and Cade Cunningham and Duran. And so that's why you got to pay top dollar. And Nebraska was in a similar spot. Is you looked around at what Nebraska's unfortunately done the last 10 years, and it's been a lot of losing. It's been a lot of 3-9, a lot of 4-8, a lot of missed bowl games. And you're going to have to go out and maybe open the checkbook a little bit more. People forget that Matt Rule initially said no, right? Like, people forget that part.
Yeah.
And Matt Rule initially said no to Nebraska. And then you had to open up the checkbook just a little bit more and load it up on the back end. And that eventually drew Matt Rule to Nebraska.
I'm sure open up the checkbook for him personally, but also, continue to show that the purse strings are open for the program and the investment. Qdoba guy, welcome back. Don't forget that even though you're not driving around anymore, we do have a free app. You can listen every day. The website, ticketfm.com. Also, podcasts, wherever you get them. Check us out. So if you miss anything, definitely go back and listen there. And yes, Kip, John Cook did retire after a 3-0 sweep over Minas TC. He went out on top.
He did
we
not.
Celebrate a great career.
We were just we were just discussing how coaches get their salaries and hires and other details in that. No, John Cook is still and thankfully still the head coach of Nebraska volleyball. They
didn't announce anything.
Yeah, no, nothing. No
sports talk radio.
Hypothetical stuff in the start of June. So
that's what we're doing. Thanks for listening. We'll take a break, cross it over. No Jay, he's on his way, but I think DP will join us for the crossover to round out On the Block next.
Join us on Tuesday, June 6th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 40th and Old Cheney Customer Appreciation Day. If send wings all day and your favorite sports talk show host on the air from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come hang out with us for Customer Appreciation Day on Tuesday, June 6th at the 40th and Old Cheney Buffalo Wings and Rings.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margarita like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over. Monday nights are any night. Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go on at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Colsker Highway.
Pack your bags.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon wrap dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon wrap dates. From wedding bell, globe, and everything in between. Capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Celebrate the start of June in style with 2 great drinking events in Lincoln. First, this Friday, come down to Beer House's grand opening as they show off their expansion to double the size of their building. The party starts at 3 p.m. with live polka music starting at 7. And on Saturday, make plans to head on over to Sideshow Spirits and Cider for the first annual Nebraska Whiskey Carnival. Enjoy local Nebraska distilleries and their spirits, food vendors. Event starts at 3 p.m. Buy your tickets ahead of time at sideshowspirits.com.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Your yard looking great, and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to land your to perfection. And for a limited time, the purchase of a new John Deere, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
KEISEI Tamanaga working out with the Pacers today. He has until Thursday to make a decision on returning to Nebraska or going to the NBA draft. If he does not return, does that significantly lower your, not interest, hope in Nebraska basketball this upcoming year? To me, it does hurt your ceiling a little bit because I think Tamanaga's earned that. Of course, that makes a big difference.
I don't know how many wins he's worth at this point, just because I don't know what the rest of the team looks like.
Like, who's your scorer if Tamanaga leaves?
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and the Ticket.com.
Back one last time here on the block, wrapping it up. Good 2 hours. Nick, thanks again for filling in for Strick today. Appreciate you. Crossing over with Old School. DP, welcome to the studio.
What's happening?
What's happening is you got your wish. KEISEI Tamanaga's back for Nebraska.
Throw confetti. Get out your number 30 jerseys. Order up, man. Order up. Get your 30 jerseys. Get them now, quickly, before they take them off the market again.
Yeah.
Or pay the, excessive custom jersey amount.
Is there a time frame where if he goes back to Japan here anytime soon? Because we've seen Jazz Shelley do that. We saw Izzy Bourne last season when she was with Husker women's basketball go back to Australia, and in that moment they were able to make NIL money. Mm-hmm. If there is a moment when KEISEI goes back to Japan, it's going to be crazy.
And they're airdrop 1 million jerseys back to Nebraska.
100%. And they're going to be gone.
And I'm ready. Just tell me what day that is. You talk about the biggest drop in history. Forget about the alternate uniforms.
Forget Jordan shoes.
Right? What the biggest drop in Lincoln would be the day they drop the different versions of the Tamanaga jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you put it in Japanese, I'm buying it. I'm going to buy it. That's just it. Right?
That's going to be so cool.
Right. Whatever their custom Black History Month, I'm buying it. Whatever that is for KEISEI, I'm in. I had to petition directly to certain people in the program that a Hoiberg jersey has to be on sale and in the window at Pinnacle Bank Arena. I don't know what we're waiting for. I don't know what they're waiting for.
The number of visiting fans that would think, why are you making your head coach a jersey, would be too high, because we all know which Hoiberg jersey it is.
Yeah, but we're not worried about those people who bump their heads and eat paint chips. If you have to ask that question, you're not allowed to ask the question.
We were talking about the guard depth and how Sam Hoiberg made that a fascinating conversation last year, and how that continues this year. You get a grown man Big Ten player and Aaron Eulis in the doors. You get KEISEI Tominaga back. Ramel Lloyd, after a redshirt year, looked good when we saw him at Cedars. Jamarcus Lawrence wasn't expected to play, did some really good stuff. Oh, and Sam Hoiberg, little spark plug off the bench. That's five dudes that have to play.
And flex wings who can in Fred's system.
Williams, Wilcher.
There'll be times when you have 4 small ball handlers on the floor. There'll be times when you have the bigger of the 4 on the floor with whatever big you want to run. There'll be times when you go 3 and 2, depending on whatever rotation you're using with your bigs. We don't know that yet, and I'm not sure that the roster looks complete. So there's that part of it. When you look at 15 players on the roster active, how many of those exist as they will? Will somebody redshirt? Will somebody sit out a year? Of course, you got injuries and the other stuff that's in play. But what you have is Fred Flex. You have the thing that is going to make him that gave teams problems in the Big Ten at the end of last season, is that whatever combination there was on the floor, teams had to adjust to who was on the floor and couldn't honor the rules of the game. It was, we give space normally to the two on the wing. Normally you give that space. You can't give that space if it's Tominaga. It changes the game.
Tominaga on one wing, CJ on the other.
Or Hoiberg on the other wing, where if you float inside the paint, you get an extra foot on the help in the paint. Hoiberg's going to bust you up. Plus Hoiberg, if you go out to contest the 3, he'll break back door, get the layup. The higher IQ basketball, and I want to get that in the air. If the Huskers play high IQ basketball, they will have success. But they have to be consistent in doing the small stuff well. Make free throws, hit the open looks, finish. I would say this. I know Husker fans like finish at the rim. I like finish on the glass because it's either or. It's either or. Trying to finish at the rim. If you have those punishers at the rim, you can do that. Nebraska hasn't necessarily had them, so that's not really a thing we know. But you can finish at the glass, where a shot blocker either has to foul or pin it against the wall or goaltend. So I like the likelihood of it.
Sorry to interrupt. That was, I think, something that's underrated with KEISEI coming back, is that he was an 83% free throw shooter last year, and then you throw Sam Hoiberg into there as well, and he's 82% from the charity stripe. Like
clutch.
those two guys, Sam Hoiberg,
clutch down the stretch free throw.
Exactly, and that's something that, like KEISEI, obviously you think about it, 40% from beyond the arc. He shot whatever it was from the field, and he moves out the ball. He's fun to watch. But something Nebraska's lacked all the way to Doc Sadler years is free throw shooting ability, whether it was like David Rivers at the line or Walter Pitchford or Teran Petaway. It's been free throw shooting. So any help that they can get in KEISEI Tominaga, who admits that he needs to get stronger, right? If he can get to the line more often, that's only going to benefit Nebraska.
Well, I mean, I think that's the style of play. The offense, when you run an offense that is space-based, which means, okay, if I have shooters who can hit threes, I force defenders to contest. If the defenders contest, I go by. If they in their defensive prep, they get into that line of passing, then I back cut him and make him pay. Also, having a guy who can catch that pass and then give it back to the big who's helped defender just vacate it. Those are things that were done well at the end of the season. They were done well against Purdue. There were times when this team did that well. There were also times when the team just got in their own way with small details. But think about it. The back half of the year, there's 2 eggs that were laid. Final game, and then I forget who it was in the middle of in the last 10 games.
Illinois.
It was an egg.
Illinois at home.
It was an egg because they just didn't do basic things well when it comes to make the extra pass, make a good decision on defense, know who your spot up shooters are that you're facing, and then force a hot shooter off his spot. Like that.
Yeah, because I want to say that was the Illinois game was the one that Terrence Shannon Jr., who is returning for Illinois, started 7 of 7 or 8 for 8 from beyond the arc,
and you never.
And it was like the most. It
was
the most made threes in consecutive made threes for a player in PBA history or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
to body him off,
insane.
Like it's that thing. I need to make you uncomfortable. If you're on a roll, whatever you're doing well. That's like throwing somebody a four-seam fastball and they keep hitting you over the fence. Well, you know what? I can try the breaking ball. I don't want to put it in the same place, but I can try a breaking ball just to change the bat speed.
One guy that did that really well too last year. We talked about Terrence Shannon Jr. was Chris Murray of Iowa, and in that game against Iowa, Murray was obviously he got his because those guys are always going to get something. But nothing compared to what you were worried about going into it.
Well, his discomfort. Sometimes you're taking a 30-point night and turning it into a 16-point night for somebody. Like that's the win there. That it looks like somebody had a good night, but the reality was the work they had to put in to get that 16 equates to what they normally put in a 30-point night. What we love about KEISEI is that KEISEI never has to work for his 20. Like there are times you look up at KEISEI and go, he's got 19,
which is funny because of all the work he does off ball.
Right, the work that's there, and people haven't. There's a text that said Big Ten teams have figured out KEISEI. No, they haven't. They literally haven't, because he's changed his game so frequently, and from game to game, his mid-range game has improved. Ball handling has improved. His ability to go to the right hand has improved. His passing, his back cuts. Here's the thing. There are two things you don't want to do to KEISEI Tominaga. Put him at the free throw line and allow him to back cut. Because the moment he back cuts you and gets a layup, the next shot's a three and it's going down. And if you send him to the free throw line and he gets that natural rhythm, he gets a rhythm and makes 2 free throws, he's going to come down and get you. So knowing how to defend people who do that, and look, the Big Ten, all of the people we wanted to leave the Big Ten came back.
Every one of them.
Yeah, like, like it was prom night. It was prom week. Desperation ask people to take you to the prom because the NBA sent everybody home. They were like, nope, none of you get to play in the league this year. None of you really want to be in this water. Go back. Sharpen your skills, and think about it. You're talking about the player of the year was sent packing
2 years in a row now,
right? Like, and it is a Big Ten big thing. How much focus Big Ten conference players, fans, coaches put on the big versus everybody else. And I'm just gonna say, pick your level of priority. If you want to get better, the thing that teams have difficulty with Nebraska is that they're not running traditional sets that everybody else is running. They don't have the plotting big. That was the difference maker. If you go to a plotting big, yes, it makes you like everybody else, but everybody else has better bigs than you do. Like if you get a big this year, it's not going to be that good. It's not going to be that good.
That's where I think whether you're looking at Nebraska basketball or football, I think I brought this up at one point too, is that if you're going to copy everyone else, you're probably going to fall short because you don't have the same caliber of athlete. You're not recruiting at the high level. You have to find a way to innovate.
You don't have the inventory. You don't have the big man inventory.
No,
like you just don't have it.
And that's where I think the execution part that you said they have to do the high IQ things consistently is going to be this team's advantage. They're not unathletic, but other teams have freaks. But Nebraska doesn't always. So you have to do the little things right consistently.
Derek made these plotting bigs have to defend in space and have to head.
They hated it.
Yeah, Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Right
now,
him. If you
goodness,
yeah, if you don't get that, that's fine. If you don't get that, as long as that big is facilitating everybody, all the shooters, that puts the burden on the shooters and the ball handlers. That's a different conversation.
Interesting.
What's the old school conversation?
I wanted to find out what's wrong. What's wrong with Nebraska athletics? What's wrong?
Is this show going all night?
Well, but that right?
I hope not.
Is this going in tomorrow? Or we?
So if I ask the listeners, let's focus on football. What has to be fixed first? And you'll get 10 different answers. That's where I want to. That's
because the order is going to be different.
What do you have to fix? What's wrong?
Fascinating. I think Kevin Meyer's coming in as well.
Yep.
Left Thirsty Thursday. We'll loop Jay in when he gets here. Safe travels, Jay. Get here quick. But that's a fascinating conversation. You will not want to miss it. Once again, Nick, appreciate you sitting.
Appreciate you,
Strick.
Austin. Always a good time.
It has been. It's been fun. Stick around, old school. DP and I'll hang out for a little bit before Jay gets here. That's good stuff here on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Old School.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has improved that narrative for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Nebraska's favorite vape shop,
Generation V.
providing friendly, personalized service and the largest selection of vaporizers and e-liquid flavors in the state.
Generation V.
Generation V will beat or match any local competitor's price. With a huge selection, great service, and the lowest prices, Generation V is your one-stop shop for all your vaping needs.
Generation V.
With 4 Lincoln locations, visit us on the web at generationv.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of our home for both indoors and outdoor. Variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and annuals, plus porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Your home plus drinks and snacks. Visit Taylor and stay tuned. Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Motor Food is Lincoln's hardest rocking food truck and cafe. Motor Food creates old school comfort food with a 21st century twist and lots of attitude. The barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese, grilled chicken Firebird sandwich, a 100% all beef split grilled hot dog, and any version of their funky fries. Stop by